My girlfriend inherited an old house in Louisiana. I should have never gone inside. I'm writing this from room 17 of a shitty motel just outside Baton Rouge. The door is locked, chain on, chair jammed under the handle. I've kept the lights on for 4 days straight. I can't sleep more than a couple hours at a time. Every time I close my eyes I still smell that sweet, earthy rot in the back of my throat like it's growing inside my lungs now. 3 weeks ago Emma got a letter from some lawyer in New Orleans. Her great-aunt Evelyn, a woman she'd only met twice in her whole life, had died at 87 and left her this old plantation house out in the bayou, about an hour south of the city. We were broke in Chicago, rent was late, jobs sucked. This felt like a miracle. We figured we'd drive down, take some pictures for a real estate guy, sign whatever papers, and head back with a little cash. 1 weekend, tops. The drive took 15 hours. The further south we got, the heavier the air felt. When we turned off the highway onto that narrow road through the swamp, the cypress trees closed over us like a tunnel. Emma rolled her window down and just breathed it in, smiling this weird little smile. I already had a bad feeling but I kept quiet. The gate was rusted half open. The house sat at the end of an overgrown driveway like it was sinking into the ground. Big 2-story place, gray wood, sagging roof, all the shutters nailed shut from the inside. The second we stepped out of the car the smell hit us. Sweet, damp, like old bread left in a wet cabinet. Emma coughed once and laughed. Just an old house, babe. We'll air it out. Pushing the front door open felt like waking something up. Inside it was dark as hell. Almost every window was boarded up. The walls in the hallway had this thin black film in the corners, like greasy dust. I ran my finger over it and it smeared. Looked like the toxic black mold you see in those news reports after floods. I told myself it was no big deal. First night we ate sandwiches on the porch. Emma was all excited, saying the place felt weirdly familiar, like she had childhood memories here even though she'd never been. We slept in the aunt's old bedroom. Around 3 a.m. I woke up to this slow scratching sound inside the walls, like fingernails dragging on plaster. It stopped the second I sat up. Emma was out cold. Next morning her eyes were bloodshot. She said she'd slept great. I had this pounding headache behind my eyes. While we were in the living room I took down one of the old family photos on the mantle. Tucked behind the backing was a small handwritten note from 1978. Don't scratch the black spots. They always come back. Evelyn is hearing voices at night now. Pray for us. I showed it to Emma. She just smiled and put it back like it was nothing. We went up to the attic later. The air was so thick you could almost chew it. Found 3 old journals in a trunk. The first one from the 60s talked about the damp that comes back every summer and the black film growing in the corners. The later ones got stranger. One entry from 1994. July 12th, the walls felt warm today. I scraped some of the black stuff in the basement and the skin underneath was dark and shiny. Last night I saw my reflection. My nails are black at the base. It's not dirt. It's growing from inside. Emma was reading over my shoulder, fingers tracing the pages like they were special. I noticed her cuticles looked darker than usual. Probably just dirt from cleaning. That evening she started wiping the walls with her bare hands, rubbing the black film like she wanted it on her skin. She was whispering to herself. When I asked who she was talking to she turned and gave me this calm empty smile I'd never seen before. By day 3 I was losing track of time. Phone signal was garbage. I found another note behind a wedding photo in the upstairs hallway. It was from Evelyn's husband in 2001. If you're reading this, leave. The stuff in the walls isn't normal mold. You breathe it in. It changes your blood. Evelyn has black veins on her arms now. She says the house is happy. Don't let it love you. Emma was in the kitchen when I came down. She was sitting on the floor with her hand flat against the wall. The black stuff had spread under her fingers. Her eyes were way redder, almost brownish. There was a clear black line at the base of her nails. She didn't seem to notice. They're glad we're here, she whispered. That night the scratching turned into slow breathing that matched my own. I had the first real nightmare, walls closing in, something wet and thin crawling down my neck. Woke up sweating. Emma was leaning over me. I could see faint dark lines under the skin of her forearms now. On day 4 I found the basement. The door was hidden behind a shelf in the kitchen. The spiral stairs were so narrow my shoulders scraped the walls. The smell down there was choking. On a shelf was Evelyn's last journal, entries from right before she died. March 3, 2025, I don't go outside anymore. My lungs make a wet paper sound when I breathe. The skin on my shoulders turned black and soft like wet velvet. It doesn't hurt. It almost feels good. The house speaks clearly now. It says I'm not alone anymore. At the back of the basement was an old metal bed with straps. On the wall someone had carved deep, "It grows in us. Don't let it out." When I came back up Emma was waiting. Dark veins were clearly visible under the skin of her arms. Small black patches had appeared on her cheeks and neck. She barely ate. Every breath had this faint wet rattle. Her voice was lower, slower. "You saw the secret room?" she asked. I told her we were leaving right then. She blocked the front door with her body. She was stronger than she should have been. Her palms left black smears on the wood. The skin between her fingers was starting to crack open a little, like something thin was pushing underneath. That night I felt the first itch under my own nails. A thin black line was already climbing up my right index finger. By the 5th day it was bad. Emma didn't sleep anymore. She spent the nights touching the walls, answering voices I couldn't quite hear yet. Her eyes were almost solid dark red. The black patches on her skin looked wet. When she breathed, it sounded like damp leaves. She was still strong though. Scary strong. I found one last note behind an old picture of young Evelyn in the bedroom. A torn page dated a few months before she died. I'm almost ready. The stuff reached my lungs. When I cough, black dust comes out. My arms feel warm and alive. If you're reading this, it's already too late for you too. It chooses the ones who stay. I tried to leave at dawn. Waited until she was in one of her half sleeps. Grabbed the keys and ran for the car. The house seemed to sigh when I opened the front door. The smell followed me outside. I drove like hell for 40 minutes until I saw city lights. Got to this motel, burned my clothes, scrubbed my skin raw in the shower. But 5 minutes ago I looked in the bathroom mirror. The black lines under my nails have reached the first knuckle. Dark veins are crawling up my forearms, warm to the touch. My breathing has that same wet rattle. There's a soft black patch on my left cheek now, slightly damp, like living velvet. And in the mirror behind me, the door I locked is standing open. I can hear slow, wet footsteps in the hallway. Emma never stayed at the house. She's here. And I can feel it moving gently under my skin, breathing with me. My fingers are turning black as I type. If anyone reads this, don't come looking for me. The house already won.